Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. Something came up in the comments of yesterday's video that I wanted to expand upon a little bit, and because it basically is affecting my situation right here. And what that is there should be cross-training for both parties in a marriage. And what I mean by that is if I'm not available, my wife can take care of certain things and vice versa. A good example of it, one of the things for us is if I'm not home, which is entirely possible because I work and, do other things and stuff, and the power goes out, my wife, my children, they know, and my children are all adults, by the way, but they know how to start the generator, hook it up to the house, because we don't have a whole house automatic transfer switch generator. We have to go through a set of procedures to get the generator hooked up to the house. So we have that going on. And then vice versa, there's certain things that my wife does. I need to know how to do those if she's not available, like this week where she's, incapacitated because of health issues and she's hospitalized. And somebody brought that up in the video, and I have seen this many, many times already with unexpected deaths. And that's probably the worst case scenario for that. The husband or the wife passes away, and then the other member of the family doesn't know how to take care of, like, the animals outside, like if they got chickens or if they got a steer or something. If the husband passes away, the wife doesn't know how to do that. Or if the wife passes away suddenly, the husband doesn't know how to pay the bills because she paid all the bills online or whatever. And I'm guilty of this too. In fact, about a month ago, I just had my wife sign me up for a bunch of things online because, I'm like most guys my age. I kind of don't really care for technology that much, although I still use it. It's not my forte, so to speak. But I actually said to her about a month ago, hey, you should get me on with these apps and these different things online so I can do different things, whatever. If something happens, you're not around or you can't do it or you're at work or whatever. And, I wasn't really thinking hospitalization at the time, but that seems how it sort of manifested here. And the last week here, while she's been sort of down and out, I've been able to take care of stuff because I added that in, to my skill set here rather recently. And that's something that I wanted to mention directly. Those basics of life, if you got a wood stove, both members of the family should know how to fire the wood stove. If you got a generator, both members of the family should know how to run the generator. If you pay bills online, both members of the family should know how to pay bills online and have access to this because, there's passwords, there's all kinds of other, technological ins and outs for that. There should be an overlap in those, those basic functions. If you don't know how to make your wife's fried potatoes, that's not, the end of the world. You can, mitigate that. You can get through that. But if you don't know how to pay the electric bill online, and that's the only way that they accept the payment online, and something happens to the wife and the husband's, trying to figure that out, now you're running the risk of, the lights being shut off. So that's sort of my point with making that. And another thing is with, prepper groups. I just did a short here not too long ago that said basically to the point of what happens if something happens that puts you out of your prepper group. You're alone when SHTF happens and you got to figure that out by yourself. One way, it always comes up, how do I meet like-minded people, whatever. In small-town America, there's fundraisers for all different kinds of things. There's fundraisers at churches, at different organizations, clubs, whatever. Sometimes they're for people who are having health problems, and it doesn't matter to me whether it's Methodist, Catholic, Lutheran, the local sportsman's club, Eagles Club, they're having a benefit down at the local bar because somebody got diagnosed with cancer and they need money to go back and forth to, their chemo treatment. So they're having a spaghetti dinner or a taco buffet or whatever for them. And it's, donations, that kind of stuff. I will support every single thing like that I possibly can. If I have time and I have money to get to those things, I will go to those things. In fact, I just went to the fireman's breakfast this morning before I left on this trip here. Why? Because those are members of my community, and there's a good chance if SHTF happens, my neighbors and the people in my local community, zip code, whatever, there's a good chance they're going to be my prepping group. And having that face-to-face time and that face-to-face interaction with those people gives you a leg up on that. They know you, they kind of know who you are, and that is a foundation for talking about stuff like prepping. Hey, if something happens here, you guys squared away, whatever. It's a diplomatic thing to a certain extent, but I have found out that people at these functions, you can get local intel, you can find out what's going on in your community, like your municipality. Hey, if the firemen are getting a new fire truck or whatever, you're going to find out all that pertinent information that can be applied to your prepping if you, go buy breakfast for $10 or whatever it is, or go, spend $15 on a taco bar to support somebody in your neighborhood. And then that has reciprocal benefits too if SHTF happens to you and you're the one that has to go for medical treatment, or you have your garage burns down or something, or you have a problem out on the farm, they will come to your benefit as well. So there's that. There's another aspect of preparedness you don't hear a lot of people talk about, and basically it's just day-to-day stuff anyway. So I wanted to mention those two things here this morning on my drive to take care of businesses as always, but that came up in the comments, and that's something that I wanted to talk about, that overlapping of the basics of running the household and stuff if one family member is incapacitated. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. I hope you guys always get something to think about out of my videos. I always try to add value to the prepping community in my own way, but you guys take care out there today.